is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are MC.
A grand slam, are you kidding me? Shocked the house. As Jeremy Guthrie retired the last 19 Diamondbacks. Blasted to left field.
Get ready to sing that fight song, Alex.
Game one goes to the first place Kansas City Royals.
And the Royals move to 15 games above 500. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Tonight is the final interleague game for the Royals this year. They have a chance to tie a major league record if they can take Game 2 from the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. We are finishing a tough stretch of games for the Royals, 16 games in 16 days, the so-called dog days of the baseball season where the weather is at its hottest and there are very few off days. And so far, the Royals are 13-2 during that stretch. If they can win tonight, they will go to 16 games above 500 for the first time since 1994. If you're talking about the last time they've won 9 consecutive series, you have to go back even farther, 1991. And with the win tonight, they can tie a major league record for the most interleague wins in a single season. And let's welcome in Rex Hudler. You know, Ned Yost, he likes a set lineup, and yet he is really using his bench well to keep his regulars rested, to keep his bench guys refreshed, and they haven't looked sluggish at all in the so-called dog days.
No, I'm going to tell you, team chemistry is at an all-time high for the 2014 Royals. They're getting contributions from everyone. During the course of 162 games, there's going to be 35 guys during that championship season. When all of them are contributing, great team chemistry, good feeling for the ball club.
It was another well-pitched game for the Royals. That's been their hallmark the last 2 years. James Shields got the win last night. Danny Duffy goes for his 4th consecutive win tonight. Joe Goldberg is coming up next.
Steelers Royals lineup, and there was a late change in this one. Salvador Perez, who had a little bit of knee discomfort on Sunday, played yesterday, was supposed to go today, but he had a little bit of discomfort again, just a precaution, but the Royals end up scratching him. Eric Kratz is in the lineup. Well, welcome back to Coors Field. Joel Goldberg here as the Royals go for the sweep. And the win yesterday, it came on Ned Yost's 60th birthday. So our AT&T U-verse Rewind takes a look at the post-game media, the news conference for Ned Yost, which was interrupted by first base coach Rusty Kuntz.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ned Lee. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Well, Rusty said he didn't know if he was going to get hit or hugged. He got the hug. The Royals will try to get to Jorge De La Rosa, the former Royal, when we come back. First pitch is next.
Brought to you by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Make your move to Chevrolet today. By the Missouri Lottery. Try the new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T U-verse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world. So the Royals wrapping up interleague play tonight. They have a 2-game lead over the Tigers, and Detroit has a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning at Tampa Bay. Royals are 4-1 on this road trip, and in a stretch of 13 consecutive games against last place teams, and that will continue over the weekend when the Royals go from here to Arlington to play the Rangers. Tonight the Royals face a former Royal, Jorge De La Rosa, who pitched for Ned Yost for a time in Milwaukee, then was traded to the Royals, and was always one of those stuff pitchers, meaning the velocity and the movement was there, but had difficulty throwing strikes. Who would have thought of all the places in the world he would figure out pitching at Coors Field?
It's just amazing how, pitchers don't want to come here, but you can find some successes. He's found his control, and he's able to mix in all of his pitches. He's a guy who's could give the Royals offense a fit. He's got fastball, cutter, curveball, split finger. He'll double up on those. And he's got some decent velocity. He'll go 91 to around 93. Might see a 94 in there, but he's going to finesse. He's got a good cutter. Willen Rosario, we highlighted him for that Rockies defense. So far this year, he's only caught 16.2, but he's got a good arm. And De La Rosa's got an average move to first base. We'll see if they can get some runners on and track meet will break out.
Royals did not steal a base last night against Mike McHenry, although they really didn't need to, with 7 runs, 11 hits, and it was a clutch night of hitting for the Royals, scoring all 7 of their runs with 2 outs. Calling the balls and strikes is the crew chief, Jeff Nelson. Scott Berry at first base, Laz Diaz at second, and Mark Carlson will be at third base. De La Rosa has gone at least 6 innings in his last 10 starts. And he has really changed as far as throwing strikes goes since his days with the Royals. He was in KC 2006, 2007. He only has 3 walks in his last 33 innings. So the Royals should be ready to swing when they get up to the plate against De La Rosa.
That's right, but he's going to try to offset that timing with all those off-speed pitches. But he is good here. He's 8-2 this year at Coors Field with a 3.3 ERA in 12 starts, and he's on a 5-start winning streak here. So he's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. He's been their best.
Christian Colon not only gets a start at third base, he leads off. What an impressive plate appearance he had last night, coming up in the 8th inning, bases loaded. Royals with a 4-2 lead at that time, so the Rockies were in striking distance, and he took a walk. I mean, how many young guys think, okay, I'm going to impress the manager here, I'm going to get a big hit? But he was patient, like he is right here, and ended up walking with the bases loaded.
So why not give him that leadoff spot tonight? And they did. Good job. So that last pitch, that 4-seamer, it bores in on righties. Got a little deception to his delivery there as he has a little hesitation. He wanted that one.
And he walks again. So right away, De La Rosa has to pitch out of the stretch as Colon goes down to first base.
2 at-bats and not 1 swing. Beautiful. Get on base. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Omar Infante, he went 1 for 18 in the 4-game series in Minnesota, and then took care of that last night, going 4 for 5 with 3 doubles and 4 RBIs to take over the team lead in RBIs. He now has a career high 57. There's the first strike from De La Rosa. So leapfrogging over Alex Gordon. The Royals have 4 hitters with 50 or more RBIs. Lorenzo Cain last night got his 40th RBI, so that gives the Royals 9 with at least 40 RBIs this year. That's the most in the major leagues. 0-2.
You show Ron Washington with that stat we just showed up there with all those guys with all those RBIs. He's going to go, oh man, who are we going to pitch around? That's some good balance in that lineup with production.
And we'll see Ron Washington for a 3-game series with the Rangers beginning on Thursday night, or Friday night rather. Tomorrow is an off day.
Okay, De La Rosa's cutter 86-90. He's got some really late hard action. He comes out and tries to keep that ball down, just like he got Infante to swing on there. Split fingers. He'll double, sometimes triple up on those. Here it comes here. You can see his grip. He really likes that split finger. He'll throw a few curveballs, not a lot. He tries to backdoor those curveballs to righties. See, it is. He's mainly split finger, fastball, cut fastball guy. Average move to first base, he'll use a slide step. He'll mix up at the height of his leg kick as well. So he's a veteran guy, knows how to handle the running game.
And a strikeout of Infante for the first out.
That's the pitch there that they're going to have to discipline themselves to lay off of to have any success against De La Rosa. Believe me, Infante, he was hot. He wasn't going to give him anything out over the plate, but if he's going to keep swinging at that, Infante, he'll expect to see some more of those tonight.
Billy was 1 for 4 last night, extending his hitting streak to 8 games. Scored one of the 7 runs. He faces De La Rosa for the first time.
Willen Rosario is a nice catcher. Short, 5'11", 200. Built low to the ground. He's got good footwork back there. He's got a strong arm.
And over a longer stretch for Billy, in his last 16 games, 391. So he's up to 282 overall. 2-0.
Yep, plate discipline's going to be important, as De La Rosa in the first innings having some command issues. Wait him out. Wait for a pitch up. Billy's got plenty of power for this ballpark, opposite field all the way around.
Just outside, and now 3-0. Told you last night the Rockies have been just awful this year on the mound. They have the highest ERA in the league. Walt Weiss has had that look on his face far too many times. They have allowed the most home runs, they have walked the most, and they have struck out the fewest. And after last night, they have more blown saves than saves. It's the second of 2 4-pitch walks for De La Rosa in this inning.
And he's already shaking his head, showing some displeasure with his body language, a little frustrated with himself. And that's okay with the Royals. When hitters see a pitcher like that, a little indecisive, maybe showing some lack of confidence, that's a good thing.
Josh Willingham bats fourth and plays in right field. Salvador Perez was scratched late. That right knee was starting to bother him again, and with a day off tomorrow, it's an opportunity to give him 2 days off. So Nedios shuffled up his batting order, moving up Butler and Willingham. And now that pitch is low. Batting .225 overall, but .360 since joining the Royals.
Ooh.
5 RBIs and a slugging percentage over .600.
Gotta love that. What a presence in that lineup he's made. .266 hitter off of lefties, with 5 of his 7 home runs off of southpaws.
A little bit out in front, 1 ball, 1 strike. De La Rosa's had a tough time throwing strikes to Willingham. Willingham has come to the plate 14 times, and De La Rosa's walked him 6 of those times. On the ground to Arenado. They get the out at second base and a double play. That's how De La Rosa gets around a couple of 4-pitch walks as the Royals are scoreless in the first. The Rockies will be facing Danny Duffy when we come back. Career has won 3 consecutive starts, and he has been helped finally by some run support in those last 2 bullet points there. 23 runs of support over his last 3. Before that, he had a combined 8 runs of support over 8 starts. And Walt Weiss respecting Danny Duffy and that strong left arm. He has a lineup of 7 right-hand batters. Dickerson in left field and De La Rosa, the pitcher, the only 2 that will bat left-handed against Danny Duffy.
First 4 hitters in that lineup all have good numbers against left-handers this year. Could present an issue for Duffy. Biggest key for Danny is going to be command and keep that fastball in there. He'll go 90 to 97 with that pitch. But his biggest test will be how this thin air handles his breaking ball. Will he be able to use that? He incorporates that pitch and his changeup as secondary. Rutledge hitting .364 with 2 homers against lefties out of his 3. Might see that change a little bit depending on how the game goes along. He might do like James Shields last night. Had more success with fastball changeups. But he's not going to let this weather, this ballpark affect him. I talked with Dave Island about Duffy's breaking ball today. What he thought it would do. He said, I'm not going to say anything to him about using his changeup more than his breaking ball. I don't want to put anything in his head that he doesn't need. Let him just go out and be Danny Duffy. It's good coaching. Sometimes you don't want to say a word to the guy. Just let him go.
Full count on Rutledge. Went down and got that pitch and smashes it into center field and takes a wide turn. He'll hold with a leadoff single.
This is a good hitting ball club here. We saw it last night. They jumped out, got some hits off of Shields. That's a really nice swing. Short to the ball, very quick. Duffy made a good pitch. That's down, but a better swing.
Drew Stubbs had a big night last night, 3 hits, including a home run, which made things interesting in the 9th inning and forced eventually Ned Yost to bring Greg Holland into the game. Last night was the 3rd time in the past week the Royals had a lead of 4 or more runs in the 9th inning, and Ned eventually had to go to Greg Holland. One and one.
Rutledge just has 1 stolen base this year.
Rutledge is halfway as Alex makes a catch. 1 down in the 1st inning. Don't forget to send in your photo at hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during tonight's game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
What's been impressive about Danny Duffy this year is that 202 opponents average. That's 4th lowest mark in the American League. Amongst pitchers that have thrown 100 innings. So they're not hitting it. Lefties, 138, no homers. Righties, 219, 9 homers against Duffy.
One and one on Arenado. 3 hits last night, 6 hits against the Royals this year. Rutledge taking off on first movement and steals second base.
Rutledge got a great jump. He stole that off of Duffy. Big high leg kick like that. Should be able to get in there unless it's a perfect throw.
Still 1 and 2 on Arenado.
Rockies are hitting 283 against lefties as a team. Pretty good mark. Team record is 16 and 19. Rockies last night had a hard time getting a big hit. They were just 1 for 10 on the night with a runner in scoring position.
James Shields had his 6th consecutive quality start last night, and now 8 quality starts over his last 9 to win his 12th of the year. Still 1 and 2.
It's a good young hitter. It's for average and power.
Another foul ball. He's fouled off 4 straight and 5 in this at bat.
good location on that curve from Duffy. That's where he wants to keep it.
Got it in on him. And Fonte gets Arenado for the second out.
Defensively behind Danny Duffy, we're going to highlight Josh Willingham in right field. Hadn't had a start out there since '09, but he's played right field 35 times in his career. Challenge will be for that ball hit in the left center field gap. Excuse me, right center for Willingham. The ball, lots of times it tails back on you, so him playing mostly left field in his career, that could be a challenge tonight.
Fastball strike to Willeen Rosario, the Rockies catcher, did not play last night. Mike McHenry was back of the dish for the Rockies and had a good night. 2 hits, including a double. Oh, and 2.
Willeen's got some pop, good power. His teammates call him the baby bull. Strong.
Laying on a fastball, still 0-2.
Okay, Duffy's fastball's got some good life on it. He's having some success above the belt. Alex Gordon has 6 outfield assists. Willingham has 3. Lorenzo Cain has 7 in center. So good arms out there. On a base hit, I don't know if they'll run on a ball hit to Alex, though. Nobody hardly runs on him anymore. He's been stuck on 6 outfield assists for a couple months.
One and 2. That's a change for him from his earlier erratic years where he would get into a lot of trouble in the early innings and then settle in. Really done a good job of setting the tone early in the game this year. Tonight he gives up a leadoff single and a stolen base, but retires the next 3. So another scoreless first inning for Danny Duffy, and no score at Coors Field. aspect of the Royals' success this season? Well, as far as against the American League Central, that's been impressive lately. The Royals were just 5-15 against the division to begin the year. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, a win tonight, they would tie a major league record for wins in interleague play. And they are 10 games above 500 on the road.
Well, they're all nice. I think that's pretty impressive if they can get that 16th win, would tie them with 3 other teams for best record ever. Interleague, that'd be pretty impressive. But they're all good.
De La Rosa walked 2 in the first inning, both on 4 straight pitches. Alex Gordon gives the Royals a 1-0 lead with his 14th home run of the year.
Pretty nice first swing of the evening. That swing, man, he looked like he knew it was coming. Fastball right down the middle, didn't miss it. First time up against him, he said, I'm not taking any pitches. He had a rough night last night. He's coming right back. You know, that little boy last night, Rhino, that had that sign, there's a Royals fan. He told me last night that Alex was going to drive the bus today. That little boy did. He called it. Maybe, maybe it's still a long way to go.
And now, a Royal who homered in his last 2 at-bats. Eric Kratz pulls it foul. Coming on for Salvador Perez in the game on Monday night when Sal came out after 6 innings and homered in his 2 at-bats in the 7th and 9th innings. And his first home run came after he cracked his bat. Two and 2.
He saved that cracked bat. He showed it to me. Yeah, he has it all tied up in a sanitary. That's a sock. And he's got it in his little bat bag. And that's a nice souvenir for the family. I'd keep it too.
Dickerson out in left field. And that's the first out of the 2nd inning.
Well, last 15 games, look what they've been doing. Runs per game. Ned Yost would have been happy if it's just at 4. That's that magic number, but that batting is coming on. And believe me, the pitching's always been there, but that offense they always knew was there, but didn't show up the first half of the season. Pitching kept them in it.
Renzo Cain got the Royals on the board for the first time last night, tying the game at 1 with a 2-out RBI double. It was the first of 7 2-out RBIs. The Royals scored all of their runs with 2 down, and their final 6 started in innings with 2 outs and nobody on base.
That's a good offensive characteristic. To do it with 2 outs, that breaks the back of the opponent. You know, we've seen them score in bunches this year, but usually it's with no outs or 1 out. Nice to see them do some 2-out knocking.
Rutledge hits a nice big hop and gets Kane, who's always running hard up the line. 2 down in the second inning. So we're in Texas over the weekend, and your schedule says there is no game on Monday, but the Yankees will be back in town for 1 game because of the makeup for the rainout. It's also a 6:10 game, so your last chance to see Derek Jeter play at Kauffman Stadium during the regular season at least. Plenty of tickets still available. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Two down to Alcides Escobar. Arenado backhands, throws from foul ground, and it takes McBride off the bag, and Mesky might have collided with McBride's arm, and he's on with 2 down.
Tough play for Arenado. Base hit all the way. Now, an accurate throw might have gotten Escobar. Arenado's got a really nice throwing stroke. He's short. Even as a sidearm like this, he gets a lot on the ball just up the line. Ooh, yeah, you got to be careful coming down in that bag, especially when you tripped. You just got the front part of it.
So Danny Duffy bats. So there's a small victory with Escobar reaching, meaning that Duffy won't have to lead off the next inning. Oh, and 2. Danny is 0 for 4 this year as a hitter. He does have a sac bunt and a run scored. To De La Rosa. Literally. So Danny makes solid contact, but he's out. The inning comes to an end. Alex Gordon with his 5th home run in his last 14 games. His 14th of the year, and the Royals strike first. second started with a solo home run to give the Royals the early lead. Well, Royals fans, if you're looking to attend the Kansas City Irish Fest, starting at just $20, you receive a ticket to watch the Royals take on the Twins 1 week from today, and also get a free single-day admission to the Kansas City Irish Fest going on that same weekend. So enjoy a night out at the ballpark and gear up for a fun-filled Irish Fest. Royals.com/Irish Fest for tickets. Danny Duffy got around to a leadoff single and a stolen base. And now gets Dickerson, McBride, and Barnes in the bottom of the second. So here's the only left-hand hitting position player that Walt Weiss has in there. Dickerson 0 for 5 last night and lost a 12-game hitting streak.
It's not bad against lefties. He's got a .310 average with 3 homers. It's a big rip. Well, what looked good was Duffy's last curveball in the last inning to Rosario. Had some good depth to it.
One and two. Fastball away, strikes him out, and that makes left-hand batters 13 for 95 against Danny Duffy this year.
It's just hard to pick him up. Fastball explodes. That fastball, it moves away from the lefty like it does there. You see that? It takes off. That's stuff. And he uses that breaking ball on him, but has a lot of success with that fastball against lefties and righties. Dave Island just wants him to pitch his game.
Matt McBride was called up from the minor leagues and had one at bat last night. He is playing at first base, so Duffy will not face Justin Morneau. And that's chopped over the mound and into center field for a one-out hit.
The old chop knock. Hits in front of home plate like that. Picks up topspin. And that second bounce, there's no chance.
Brandon Barnes is playing in right for Michael Kadire. Duffy right now pitching as if he could beat anyone in the major leagues. And against the Rockies tonight, no Troy Tulowitzki, no Carlos Gonzalez, no Justin Morneau, and no Michael Kadire.
Extra bonus for this time of season with the Royals just passing through town with 2 games. There's the National League's leading hitter. Good break.
1-1 on Brandon Barnes.
Barnes is having a good season. He leads the National League in pinch hits with 14. That'll keep you around for a while. You keep having success like that, especially in the National League where the pitchers hit. Guys that can get those hits, man, they're valuable. That looked just like a courtesy throw over there. He just lobbed it to Billy. He does have a step-off move. Believe me, I think the Rockies know it.
Out in front of a changeup, 1-2. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. More firm throw over to first base. McBride doesn't look comfortable. He's leaning back toward first even before Danny goes into his motion. And now it's 2-2. That's back into the crowd.
Rockies getting a lot of foul balls off Danny Duffy. That's not unusual for him. But in order for him to stay in the game past 6 innings, he's going to have to see if he can keep that ball down and make those hitters put it in play. But he lives above the belt with that fastball. That's a big pitch for him.
Fastball up. So the same pitch he got Dickerson with. 2 strikeouts in the inning.
Especially after getting him to swing and miss at his changeup. That pitch, it just comes in a lot quicker. He was way tardy on that. That's the importance of the changeup.
DJ LeMahieu. 0 for 4 last night. Rockies second baseman. That is the 14th foul ball. And Duffy's only faced 8 hitters. One and one. Little slow roller out to Infante, and that ball almost hit the runner McBride. So Infante was screened, but he still makes the play, and that's the inning. So a single in the first inning, a single in the second for the Rockies, and scoreless against Duffy. Baseball is brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And the reason we have that beautiful rainbow, actually there's two there, is because it is starting to rain. And it would appear that the rain is moving from behind home plate toward the field because it's raining pretty good and the fans are running for cover behind home plate. Nobody's doing anything out in right field or in center field. Now they're just starting to move around in the outfield. No sign of the grounds crew. So a little passing shower, we hope. There you go. Combination of sun and rain. Colon takes his first swing. As a pinch hitter last night, walked with the bases loaded, and then he walked on 4 pitches. He's leading off tonight. We also have some rain way out beyond left field. And Colon is on with a leadoff single. So he's had a leadoff walk and a leadoff single. And he's on for Omar Infante, 0 for 1 tonight. But because of last night, he is our MTP of the game, the most trusted player. Brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
That little double there started it off for him. And you know what? Good for him to get a little infield hit. But this one was the game. That broke it open. That was beautiful. All the Royals fans that were here last night, that woke them up. And then he wasn't finished. Knocked in 2 more.
That's outside, ball 1.
Really solidified the middle infield. Infante, him and Escobar are very comfortable together. It's brought a nice stability there.
So for the Rockies, last night was no big surprise. They've seen that before. 414 overall, but here at Coors Field, Infante hits 441. Again showing bunt, and it's 1-1.
He's moving everybody in when he does that. Arenado, the third baseman, he's playing even with the bag. Infante can get something floating out over, he might pull it again. Or he'll shoot that fastball to right field like he did last night.
Taking a shot at right field and fouls it away.
Colon has just 1 stolen base this year. He's a situational type runner.
Arenado will play it to second. Hard slide by Colon. So the Rockies get one out, and Infante is at first base.
Didn't quite hit it hard enough to get through the hole. Arenado, he's really light on his feet. He's a Gold Glover early in his career. It's just his second year now in the big leagues. Arenado, fantastic third baseman.
Billy walked on 4 pitches in the first inning. Second walk for him in the series. De La Rosa had some control problems in the first. He opened the game by walking Colon with 4 straight pitches, and then with 1 out, he walked Butler with 4 straight pitches. Over the inside, strike 1. You know, there's a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. Breaking ball makes it 0-2.
Billy's average against lefties is climbing and climbing during this hot streak. The Royals have faced quite a few lefties. He's hitting .330 now against left-handed pitching. See if he goes with that split finger.
De La Rosa down to second, and LeMahieu turns it into a double play. Second double play for the Rockies in 3 innings.
Today about Josh Willingham being out in right field. 336 career starts, only 36 in right field now. The other 35 were in 2009 with the Washington Nationals. And you think this big outfield here, and was talking to Rusty about it, but he said not a lot of concerns for this reason. With the lineup loaded mostly with righties and the hard-throwing Danny Duffy with the velocity and the movement, they really feel like they can position this thing to their advantage. Now, this is one of the 2 lefties, and what you're going to see right now is really Willingham straight up, Alex Gordon more or less straight up, and Lorenzo Cain shaded to the left side, left center field. The thinking being, with his really good stuff, Danny Duffy's a lefty here. They make contact, good chance they go a little bit opposite field. They're not going to be pulling any balls on him. And then the other side of it against all these righties, and we'll see the positioning when the rest of the righties come up, is that they really don't see these righties being able to yank the ball down the left field line. So what you're going to see on the next batter is Josh Willingham a little bit more over towards the line, Lorenzo Cain right center field, or a little bit more over that way where he can cover that side, and Alex Gordon over towards left field, left center. They'll challenge those guys to go to left field, but they really believe that Willingham, and with Duffy on the hill, less line drives and gappers, more pop-ups and fly balls. Let's see where that positioning goes right now, guys, with Josh Willingham.
And with all that, you've got his bat in the lineup.
He told me before the game, Willingham, that he talked with Lorenzo Cain and said, "Low, Cain, you've got the whole right center field area, buddy. Take all you can get."
Rutledge single to center in the first inning.
Just a large outfield.
One and one.
Duffy doing a little groundskeeping on that rubber.
Two and one on Rutledge. Just a very light mist falling. A steady shower there for about 5 minutes. So that might make the clay on the mound stick to Duffy's spikes. Cain into left center field. He's got Rutledge for the second out.
So far, Duffy's beaten him with his fastball. They're not able to get the bat head out. He's in on him before they can get any good wood on it.
Drew Stubbs with two down. He flied to left field in the first inning. A little bit outside for ball one. Stubbs is now with his third organization. He was a first-round pick of the Reds out of the University of Texas. Parts of 4 seasons there. He was with the Indians last year, now his first year with the Rockies. And he's having difficulty with that fastball up from Duffy. 1-2.
Hitters on the Rockies, they look up in the zone in this ballpark because they know they don't have to really get a good piece of it to get it out of the yard. So Duffy's got that playing into his hand tonight.
Just missed with a big breaking ball. 2-2.
Looks like the altitude hasn't hurt the break on his breaking ball tonight.
And that just missed down and away. Full count on Stubbs with Arenado on deck.
Colon sliding play in the hole and throws him out. We've only played 3 innings, and Colon has been on base twice as a hitter, and now he's taken a hit away from the Rockies.
He makes a difference. Steady play, nice.
Is your home for Royals coverage all season long. Log on for game previews, recaps, videos, features, and the latest analysis from Jeffrey Flanagan. It's all at foxsportskansascity.com. 1-0 Royals on Alex Gordon's second inning home run. Alex is on deck as Willingham bats. He grounded into a 5-4-3 double play in the first inning. Oh, 0-2. Rockies have turned 2 double plays. Billy Butler grounded back to De La Rosa. He started a 1-4-3 double play last inning. Fair ball. Over the bag and down into the corner. Willingham with an 0-2 pitch is on with a leadoff double.
Two strikes on him. That ball was elevated just above the belt. Willingham. Stay hot just over the corner of the bag. He started last night's rally pinch hitting for James Shields. Got a base hit.
He has 10 hits with the Royals. 5 have been for extra bases. Ball 1 to Alex. De La Rosa pitching him a little more carefully with his first delivery this time around. In the second inning, his first pitch fastball ended up in the right field seats. Two and 0. Toyota League leaders. Boy, it seems like 10 years ago, the last time we were complaining about the Royals' failures hitting with runners in scoring position. Now they lead the league. strikes again. Right center field. Stubbs will run this one down on the track. He almost hit another home run. It's a productive out. It gets Willingham over to third with one down.
Better believe it, he didn't get that. That's off the end of the bat. I thought he almost had enough to get it out. Another ball is a breaking ball, but is out over the plate. And you can see Alex Gordon's foot here. Check out that foot. I like how he opens up. See, it's already pointed that way his foot is. So that helps him clear his hips already before he swings. Just the fact he's got his front foot up open just a little bit helps him get to that inside pitch quicker.
Rockies bring the infield in for Kratz. And he fouls the first pitch away. Fly out to left field in the second inning for Kratz. One and one.
Well, I'd like to see Kratz get a hold of one. See how far he can hit one here. Big, strong guy. Anybody can break their bat almost in half and hit it out of the ballpark in Minnesota. Big power.
De La Rosa jumps ahead 1-2. He said that was his second broken bat home run ever. He also had one in AAA, but that was more just of a little crack on the handle.
And to do it in the big leagues is even more special.
That'll land in the crowd.
He's going to have to deal against that split finger. Kratz is looking up, but with 2 strikes, you're just looking to protect. Try to find any of that spacious green grass out there in the outfield. Or get something up for a sac fly. Crew chief Jeff Nelson behind the plate. He had to yell at De La Rosa 3 times. Let him know timeout was coming. That's good. Got to let that pitcher know before he comes out of that delivery.
Two and two.
Kratz knows he's not going to get a whole lot of playing time with Salvador Perez. Being the all-star that he is, getting tonight off, so he wants to make the most of it. Get that run home.
And he should. Willingham tags. Willingham scores. Two 2-0 Royals in the 4th inning.
Just get the job done. Kratz laid off some borderline pitches on the outside. Got something he can handle. Shot it to right field on the line. Willingham, good head of steam coming from third. Nice tag. Clean lane to slide in. 2-0. You do one good thing right when you're a player like Kratz that gets to start once a week. Just one good thing, whether you throw out a runner or anything you can do good, you've had a good game. So it's early in this one. He might factor in some more, but that's one heck of an at-bat there. He fought, he battled.
1-1 on Lorenzo Cain. De La Rosa got him on a ground ball to short back in the second inning. One and two. Two balls, two strikes.
Tell you gotta love the late ads Dayton Moore has helped Ned Yost with. Eric Kratz, that trade came out of nowhere. Danny Valencia over to Toronto. Kratz, they wanted someone who had a little power and they could catch a little bit, but could add that power dimension off that bench that's so important when you're down a run or two in the ninth.
Cain down on strikes. Royals add a run. It all started with a double by Willingham on an 0-2 pitch. Kratz gets him home, and Danny Duffy has a 2-0 lead.
Guest, and you may or may not recognize the voice, but I'm pretty sure you'll recognize the voice. Do this one for us.
Bidding off the Rockies fourth, the third baseman, number 28, Nolan Arenado.
There we go. The public address announcer at Kauffman Stadium. Mike McCartney is here with his son Philip, some family here as well. And how about this, Mike? First off, we always love hearing the voice, but I know you're enjoying this one. Got to be as a fan.
Are you kidding me? You know what the last time was I sat outside in the stands at a ball game? It was 2005, actually.
Go ahead.
It was 2005, actually. Well, that's not good.
All right, we'll pick this one up and see the throw of the day. Well, it has felt like there have been Royals fans here, and there are. I guess there are some Rockies fans, too.
There are lots of Rockies fans, but I'm going to tell you, Joel, the showing of Kansas City fans here has been fantastic. We've been walking around, get something to eat before. This is a great area down here. And the amount of Royals fans that we see with their Royals gear on, it's just been fantastic. Everybody looking, giving you the thumbs up, and it's been fun. It's been awesome.
Yeah, Philip is shaking his head, too. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think everyone has had such a good time here. You were touching on this before. Nolan Arenado rudely interrupted us with a triple, but what is it like for you to be able to sit at a Royals game in the stands?
Well, it's funny. We were just talking, just because just hearing the crack of the bat is something different because I'm behind glass, so it's, believe me, it's this may fall on deaf ears, but I want a place out here to announce the games.
All right, so we've had our guys announce in the crowd, so I think Mike would like to do a little PA from out in the crowd, and I'll tell you what, you think about what the crowds have been like at Kauffman Stadium and what we're going to see when the Royals come back home next week, starting with the Yankees on Monday.
Everybody, like I said, everybody's geared up here in Colorado. You can imagine what it's going to be like going back. Now, the last homestand, you could feel it. You get it. People are talking about it. You talk to people, and they're hearing the games in the cars, hollering, yelling when there's a hit, when there's a run scored. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been something that, hey, maybe we're not so used to, at least as of present day, but I'm going to tell you, man, I'm going to enjoy this ride while it happens.
As you should. I think everyone is, too. So how often do you get stopped with people saying, I recognize that voice somewhere?
Happens to me a lot, at the high V or something like that. Do you know you sound like the guy at Kauffman Stadium? And I said, yeah, I've been told that a lot. So.
You don't bust out now batting. I get that. Well, we love hearing your voice, and we noticed that you were here based on the lovely world of social media and Twitter. And I thought, we gotta catch up with the voice of the Royals. So hopefully you get a chance to see another series win and a sweep and some more momentum when we hear you back at Kauffman Stadium next Monday.
Let's go get him, yeah.
All right, guys, I know you know the face. We see him all the time at Kauffman Stadium, but pretty cool to catch up with the voice of the K and the Royals. Guys?
Thank you, Joel. Great voice and an even better guy. Some of us in the business think, I got an okay voice, I guess. I do this for a living. And then Mike McCartney comes down the hall. And when Bob Davis was around, you'd never want to get caught in a conversation amongst yourself, Bob Davis, and Mike McCartney, because take you back to your prepubescent days. At least it sounded that way.
Golden voices.
Two down to Matt McBride. He singled first time up. Good changeup down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Duffy had retired 9 of 10 before Arenado's triple. Good off-speed breaking ball. So Danny shrugs off the leadoff triple and retires the next 3. 4 innings at Coors Field. The Royals lead 2-1. Royals baseball is brought to you by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. Final game here, a day off tomorrow, and then a 3-game series at Globe Life Park. Giordano Ventura in game 1 against Colby Lewis. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and then the Royals are home for 10 straight.
That'll be nice.
Big curve is just a little bit outside ball when there's been a little bit of barking from the Rockies first base dugout. They believe De La Rosa has been squeezed a few times, and I think De La Rosa's reaction to that last pitch tells you what he feels. He'll get that call, 1-1. De La Rosa, in parts of 4 years with the Brewers, where he pitched for Ned Yost, and the Royals, 15-23, with an ERA just under 6 and a lot of walks. Escobar just pokes it into right field for the out. He is 1 for 2. And then the Royals traded him to Colorado. And Jorge, real nice kid, real friendly, easy to talk to. And you almost felt for him, because he just wasn't finding it as a pitcher. And he is then traded away to the pitcher's graveyard of Coors Field, and look at what he's done since becoming a Rocky. 67-42. His ERA is down and his walks are down. Danny grounded back to De La Rosa in the second inning. Oh, 2.
Still looking for that first big league hit.
A scenic night and a very scenic city. Well, we've seen rainbows tonight, rain, sunlight, clouds. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The sun setting off to the west. There it is. The gray, dark blue mixed in with some light blue, all the way down into a very light orange. Just a wide spectrum of colors here tonight. 2 down. De La Rosa strikes out his third, and we'll have a Mazda game break and head out to Tropicana Field. This is Victor Martinez against Tyler Yates, and that would be a grand slam. The Tigers behind the 4th career grand slam and the 24th home run for Victor Martinez this year. They shut out Tampa Bay. So at the moment, Detroit is a game and a half behind the Royals in the Central. There's ball 1 to Christian Colon. Excuse me, Kirby Yates, who is the younger brother of Tyler Yates, former big league pitcher, both of them from Hawaii.
Rick Porcello went 9. What a nice relief for that Detroit bullpen to go a game without getting in it. The bullpen's been taxed.
You're talking about Eric Kratz, and when you're a backup player, if you can do just one good thing every night. Colon's done 3 good things, and all that happened in the first 3 innings. He has walked and singled as a hitter, and he's made the best defensive play tonight for the Royals, playing at third base. 2-2.
Colon has shown in his short time up this year that he is nothing but an action type player. He's very steady and he's doing the job. Difference maker.
Chopped out to Arenado. Colon is out, and De La Rosa has his first 1-2-3 inning. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. In one of the great outdoor cities in the United States, Denver, Colorado. Royals here for just 2. They won last night. They are leading tonight as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And let's bring in Joel.
Well, Ryan, you spent a lot of time talking about that Colorado bullpen. Detroit's getting some rest tonight. We know how good the Royals bullpen has been. And when you look at the numbers, thought it would be interesting to compare the Royals with the Rockies and Detroit. And when you look at opponents' batting average against full bullpens this season, and this is going to take into account the whole staff, and we know how good the Royals' back end of their pen is, but 237 opponents' batting average is 12th overall in baseball. But then you see the Tigers and the Rockies, 275 opponents are batting against Detroit's bullpen, 278 against the Rockies. For the Rockies, it's one of many reasons why they have struggled this year. Their pitching, home, road, wherever, has not been very good, and their bullpen, as we saw last night, is really, really a weak spot for them. But very comparable numbers as far as what opponents have been able to do against the Tigers, so you see a bit of what Detroit is up against.
Well, when you put it that way, I mean, there's problems with your bullpen, and then there's Colorado problems with your bullpen.
But you think, guys, I mean, Hud, think about this from a mental standpoint. If you're on that team, nice job again by Christian Colon at third base, but Hud, if you're on that team and you've got yourself a lead and the starting pitcher, maybe he's done okay, and then suddenly that bullpen comes in, and that mental aspect of, oh man, here we go again. Or if you're the other team, ooh, that bullpen's coming in, now's our time.
Better believe it. This game revolves around the mental edge. And unfortunately for the position players of the Detroit Tigers, whenever there's a guy coming in, they're all looking out there going, uh-oh, wonder what we're going to get. So that's what those numbers breed. A little bit of a discontent, a little bit of a anxiousness, not knowing what you're going to get.
Thank you, Joel, for that exhaustive research.
that play Colon just made, that's not easy. Whenever you back up on a ball like that, lots of times that ball will eat you up, and it almost did, but he's able to find the handle, get it over there to Billy.
Easier play for Escobar. LeMahieu is the second out.
Christian Colon. Now, see, he read that. He says, I'm not going to go get the short hop. I'll go ahead and lay back on it. Now, when you do that, sometimes you get the yips, but not Colon. Very steady-handed. At first, when that ball was hit, he thought about going in and getting it. And then he said, I'll just lay back. Trust my hands.
De La Rosa grounded out to second his first time up. Two and 0.
De La Rosa, he's not a bad hitter. He's got a 130 overall average. 17 RBIs. Now he's struck out 120 times in 276 at bats, so he's got a lot of ABs.
More difficult play for Escobar, but he gets De La Rosa. So Danny Duffy, after giving up that run last inning, is now retired the last 6 as he gets 3 ground ball outs in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Gobble him up.
Stadium a week from Saturday, we will have Retro Night. Going back to 1974, the Royals and Indians will wear throwback uniforms. The first 10,000 fans will receive this limited edition Mr. Royal bobblehead. There will be a themed pregame concert, a live organist playing throughout the game, and much more special entertainment. Saturday, August 30th, the Royals and the Indians. Royals.com/Retro Night. Our Sonic Slam Inning contestant tonight is Rebecca Jackson, who lives in Raymore. And now it's up to $4,100 if the Royals hit a home run in this inning. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, then Rebecca wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals.
That would be nice, especially for the run support for Danny Duffy. Time to give him a little cushion. Win some money for Rebecca.
De La Rosa really taking his time and saying his prayers before he faces the middle of the Royals order. Now, he made the final out of the bottom of the 5th inning, and I noticed this the first time we were here. Here are the Rockies warming up, and they had been out there for quite a while. No sign of Jorge De La Rosa. This went on for about a minute. There's ball 1 to Infante. Just warming up, playing catch. Where's the pitcher? There he finally pops out. And I noticed that the first time we were here back in 2003. De La Rosa now will have to field a ground ball and get Infante because of the altitude and how quickly a pitcher can lose his breath even when he just goes over to first to cover a ground ball, but especially when he makes the last out. That Rockies pitchers, they know how to pitch here more than anybody else. They really take their time in between innings, especially if they bat, just to make sure their heart rate isn't too elevated when they get back out on the mound and do what they're paid to do.
He certainly knows how to do that. He's going 8-2 here this year.
0-1 on Billy. He is walked and grounded into a double play.
De La Rosa's won 5 straight games here at home. He's got a little streak going. Time to break it.
Up the middle. Nice play, LeMahieu. 2 down. Josh Willingham doubled and scored in the 4th inning. He has 10 hits as a Royal, 5 for extra bases. So he could be a candidate for Player of the Month. And you can vote at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Willingham doubled up the left field line leading off the 4th inning on an 0-2 pitch and scored on an Eric Kratz sacrifice fly. Deep short. Rutledge. Nice play. Strong throw across the diamond, and De La Rosa is starting to hit his stride. He's retired the last 9. And he needed just 6 pitches to get through the 6th inning. Royals baseball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Check out the huge selection of F-150s at thoroughbredford.com. Denver's Union Station, not far from Coors Field. As we put it, the other I-70 series. A lot of Royals fans here last night. It seems like there's even more tonight and scattered throughout Coors Field. Every time we see a foul ball go into the crowd, when it lands among the spectators, it seems like there's a collection of Royals in every area balls hit tonight. Top of the order, third time through for the Rockies against Duffy. And a little pop up into shallow right, but it's a long run in for Willingham, and he catches up to it. Rutledge is 1 for 3. Well, summer's coming to an end, but we hope that won't stop you from coming out to Kauffman Stadium. It's all lining up for a special September. And on September 2nd and 16th, you can now receive Field Plaza tickets for only $10 and Hy-Vee infield tickets for only $5. And this deal is only good for those 2 dates, the 2nd and the 16th. You can stop by the Kauffman Stadium box office. You can visit Royals.com. You can drop by any Kansas City area Hy-Vee or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. September 2nd and the 16th. 0-2 on Stubbs. He is 0-for-2 tonight.
Threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, but he's settled down since.
Fastball struck him out as he goes with that quick pitch.
Boy, you know, he might do that twice during his games, but he does it with 2 strikes on the batter, and it really throws the timing off. That's a great quick pitch. Another nice little weapon for his arsenal.
Arenado grants it right to Colon. Low throw, and Billy Butler tried to dig it out. Well, Colon was a little quick with his throw, and Billy almost helped him out on a very difficult pick.
Nice try. Had a little bit more time. Billy, he measured it up just off the end of his glove. Tough chance.
That is the first major league error for Colon, and now Rosario singles to center field. That's his first hit, and the Rockies have 2 on with 2 out.
That ball looked like it went right under Duffy's glove. Had his glove in what he thought was the right place, but that ball was hit hard. Duffy acting like he thought he should have caught it.
Pratt's out there to give Duffy a little extra time to catch his breath. Danny was cruising along there. That could have been a 7-pitch inning. Now the tying run in scoring position. Potential go-ahead run is at first for Dickerson, who's 0 for 2, and he was last week's National League Player of the Week. Missed with a breaking ball. 1-0.
He had 11 RBIs during that week. Have a week, man.
Two 2-0. Back-to-back breaking balls. Last night, Dickerson lost a 12-game hitting streak. Carried over from his impressive week last week, and he is 0 for 2 tonight. Danny has struck him out with a fastball and got him to pop out to short. Arenado at second, Rosario at first with 2 outs. Ooh, 3-0, very close. That's just outside. So with 2 outs and nobody on, an error, a single, and a walk, and the Rockies have the bases loaded. And Yost doesn't seem to be concerned.
Rockies may not get a better opportunity than this one.
McBride singled to center in the second inning, and then Duffy struck him out with a curveball in the fourth. Danny back to the windup. That is gone. Duffy feels bad. Nobody feels worse than Colon. This all started with an error, and with one swing, the Rockies take a 3-run lead.
Yep, first pitch fastball. McBride, he's sitting all over it. Right down the middle. 95. Good short, compact swing. That ball was hit on the line.
That is his first home run this year. He had 2 home runs for the Rockies 2 years ago. He didn't play in the big leagues at all last year.
First career grand slam.
Escobar throws out Barnes to end the inning. Well, last night, twice the Royals scored runs with 2 outs and nobody on. Tonight, the Rockies get 4 in the 6th.
Royals tickets, but Tickets for Less also has the best tickets to all Chiefs games. Tickets for Less has Chiefs single game tickets now on sale for all games. Your opportunity to take the family to see Arrowhead Stadium at an affordable price is now. Check out ticketsforless.com now. And here in Denver, a little work now to do for the Royals offense, but guys, as we saw last night, it can happen quickly here.
They have been there, done that. That's for sure, Joel. So McBride has homered. His was a grand slam. The Royals have a home run tonight. That was from Alex Gordon leading off the second inning against De La Rosa, and that is our Jeep drive of the game.
Solid first swing of the night. 14th on the season for Alex. Happy fan.
And again, De La Rosa pitching him carefully. That home run Alex hit on a first pitch fastball right down the middle, and then De La Rosa stayed away from Alex in the fourth inning, and Alex flied out to deep right center field. 2-0.
De La Rosa been using fastballs, cut fastballs, curveballs, and split fingers. He's only given up 4 hits.
Three 3-0. Academy Sports and Outdoors. We'll compare our starters tonight. Duffy has given up 1 more hit than De La Rosa. 3 more runs, but 4 runs. All 4 runs on the McBride grand slam were unearned. A couple of guys with big arms, capable of big strikeouts. And yet De La Rosa has 3 and Duffy has 4. Leadoff walk, so a good start to the 7th inning for the Royals. That's De La Rosa's 3rd walk, and just his first since 2 in the first inning. Here's our sprint question of the night and our results. Fans, and I think rightfully so, should be impressed with that road record. They're impressed with all 3, but 40% going with 10 games above 500 on the road, and the Royals have won 11 of their last 13 on the road. So we thank you for participating tonight. Kratz flied to left in the 2nd inning and then had a sac fly to score Willingham in the 4th. One and one. We've been telling you about Kratz and his unlikely path to the major leagues. First of all, coming out of Eastern Mennonite College in Virginia. Didn't get to the big leagues until his 9th professional season. So that right there is the road less traveled. But if you go back to his high school days, it wasn't something that he did. It was something one of his teammates did that really got his baseball career going. And here's a lesson for all kids listening tonight. Eric Kratz was the backup catcher in high school and an occasional first baseman and third baseman. And one day, kids, the starting catcher got caught smoking cigarettes and was suspended. Eric Kratz took over as the starting catcher, and that's when his baseball career took off. And he had a good, he said, not great high school career, but he wanted to keep playing, and his only opportunity was at little Eastern Mennonite College in Virginia. So sometimes It is a personal achievement that gets a career started, and sometimes it's a poor decision by somebody else that gets your career started.
Yeah, and then when you want to play, get some innings in and get some catching, you got to go somewhere where you can play. Play baseball, I mean, to get any good at it, you got to play it. So a good choice going to a college that gave him an opportunity to get some reps. Looking good out there. His plate appearances have been really nice. He's being selective. He's waiting for his pitch, and he's seeing a lot of pitches.
Grounded to Rutledge, out at second base, double play. That is 3 for De La Rosa tonight. Well, if you didn't get a chance to come out to Kauffman Stadium for Bark at the Park 1, here's a second chance. Wednesday, September 17th. And for just $35, you'll get a ticket for both you and your dog, and a Royals dog mat, plus a donation will be made to KC Pet Project for every ticket purchased. And in order to attend, you must register beforehand. So go to Royals.com/bark and get your ticket. And on September the 17th, that's a 7-10 game with the Chicago White Sox during the Royals' final homestand. One and one on Kane. Lorenzo's 0 for 2. Second baseman LeMahieu. De La Rosa now pitching with the lead, has retired 11 of the last 12.
Bottom of the 7th as Panera takes us around the league, and Ryan already told you about Victor Martinez and Rick Porcello. 6-0 shutout there. Baltimore 4-3. Mets 8-5 over Oakland. A's continue to struggle, and the Angels leading right now over Boston late. The struggling Josh Hamilton getting a little bit of production there, and a really tough game for the Angels as Garrett Richards came off on a stretcher. Not even going to bother to show you that one. It was gruesome trying to cover first base. Nelson Cruz will show you this one for our Mazda game break in Chicago. and he goes deep. White Sox losing right now late in that one to the Orioles 4-3. So Baltimore continuing to put pressure on the rest of the American League East, and teams like the Royals who are trying to chase them for that second spot as far as the playoff seeding goes.
So some good news, bad news for the Angels in losing Richards. Well, the Oakland A's, what was that, Joel? Losing 8 of their last 10? Is that what I see there with their loss?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will point to their struggles after losing Yoenis Cespedes. We may point to the losses they had against the Royals.
Well, the Royals have had a knack for that this year. If in fact there is some sort of connection between what the Royals did to the A's and the way they're playing right now. Colorado Rockies might feel the same way. Remember how good they were hitting when they came to Kauffman Stadium back in the middle of May. I mean, they were world beaters on offense. Danny gets his 5th strikeout as LeMahieu is 0 for 3. Walt Weiss and his offense, they were just a wrecking crew. They were 6 games above 500 when they went to Kauffman Stadium. They were second in their division, scoring runs in bunches. The Royals swept the 2-game series, and since then the Rockies are 33 games below 500, and they've lost 19 games in the standings.
Pitching shut down on him, and they had some injuries.
I have a tough time believing that the A's problems are all Yoenis Cespedes related. When you're leading the league in runs scored, you can afford to lose one guy, can't you? I mean, even if, I mean, he wasn't the only guy that was driving in runs for them, right?
That's right. But you know, sometimes fans compare it to the timing of a move, and Billy Beane's probably thinking the same way you are. I mean, okay, maybe we don't have that home run presence that he brought, but that pitching we have, we don't need to score as many runs.
I could see if the A's were 12th in the league in runs scored and Cespedes was their best bat, then okay. But they were leading the league in runs scored. They might still be leading the league in runs scored. Still 1-2 on De La Rosa. Let's see, where are the A's? Oakland A's are still leading the league in runs scored.
Yep.
Six strikeouts for Duffy. 2 down in the 7th. And as promised earlier in the game, let's take a look at tonight's AT&T fan photo. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures like this out there. Danny Duffy is one of the more fan-friendly Royals. And there he is with Dylan. Thank you, Dylan, who goes with the Twitter handle Funky Fresh Boys.
Trying to figure out where that ballpark was. Almost looked like Fenway, but I couldn't pick it out. Did you pick out what ballpark that was?
One ball, one strike. At Kauffman Stadium, or is that Oakland?
There are signs on the walls. Spring training, maybe?
Kane retires Rutledge. 3 up, 3 down against Duffy in the 7th inning. We head to the 8th. Royals down to their last 6 outs on offense. Colorado leads 5-2. And the B Royal Fan Express, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City, heads to Omaha. Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City giving you one more chance to join the B Royal Fan Express. They'll be in Omaha on August 30th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information.
That's retro night. See if the Royals can get back in this one here late. Duffy was cruising along, man. That's a strange inning that happened with 2 outs. All started with Colon's first major league error. A couple of other guys got on it, and then Duffy gave up his first career grand slam to McBride, who hit his first career grand slam. So a lot of firsts in that inning. Unfortunately for the Royals, it didn't end up well.
Escobar is 1 for 2. He has an infield single against De La Rosa, who's in excellent shape as far as pitch count goes. That's just his 92nd. Nori Aoki will bat for Duffy.
Boy, Walt Weiss, he's got to be thrilled with De La Rosa. They have an off day tomorrow as well. Their bullpen could use 2 days. Royals would like to get De La Rosa so they can get into that bullpen.
With 1 out in this inning, De La Rosa will match his season high for innings pitched at 7 1/3. And look at that, he hasn't thrown more than 15 pitches in an inning tonight. And no 15-pitch innings since inning number 2. Line to right field, and that'll drop for a hit. Blocked by Barnes, the right fielder, and Eske has his second hit.
Real nice swing. Hit it where it was pitched on the outer half. Just talking to that ball, saying get down, get down. Barnes did a nice job not kicking it any further.
So on one hand, Ned Yost going against the book. Here's a left-hand pitcher who's good against left-hand hitting. But then again, Nori Aoki is not your typical left-hand batter when it comes to hitting a guy like De La Rosa. He takes strike 1. He is one of the best in the American League. In fact, he's the only left-hand batter in that group. 347 against left-hand pitching. No balls, 2 strikes.
Pretty impressive. You know, he just has the ability to keep his shoulder closed against those lefties that throw that breaking ball away. And he's been very productive. 0 for 1 off the bench for Ned this year.
One ball, 2 strikes. So here's the Royals' typical number 9 hitter at first and typical leadoff hitter at the plate. So their job is to get on and score, right? Well, lately they've been the ones driving in the runs. You go back to July the 22nd. That's when that great run began for the Royals. The run where they have won 22 of their last 27. Aoki and Escobar have been 2 of the best hitting with runners in scoring position. And now back to doing what they're mostly paid to do, and that is set the table. And now we're hitting another sprinkle, so some of the fans are moving for cover. 2-2. De La Rosa's had very few long counts tonight. And while he has respectable numbers this year, he doesn't normally pitch deep into games because his pitch count gets in the way. And now here he is at 100 pitches and facing his second batter in the 8th inning. He's been very pitch efficient. Into the rain, and Stubbs backs up, and he'll make the play for the first out. De La Rosa leads all major league pitchers in 3-ball, 2-strike counts. 175, so that'll knock you out of games early. But tonight he's only had one. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, consulting with the Rockies grounds crew as it's raining harder, just wanting to know, hey, is this going to be a problem here? Or are we going to be able to play through it? And it looks like we're going to play through it. Really no sign of the grounds crew accumulating anywhere, getting ready to put the tarp on the field. Strike to Colon.
You know, Colon really wants to help Duffy right here.
And he grounds it to Rutledge. That is double play number 4. Turned by the Rockies behind Jorge De La Rosa tonight. 3 come to the plate in the 8th inning. The Rockies still lead 5-2. Their hands on to shield themselves. How about an umbrella? There you go. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg here at Coors Field. Josh Vernier also with us, with director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Good move, buddy. Jason Frazier comes on for the bottom of the 8th inning. He is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Christian Colon made a mistake on defense. Danny Duffy made a mistake on the mound, and Matt McBride hit a grand slam in the 6th inning, resulting in 4 unearned runs. And the Rockies lead by 3, and the Royals on offense are down to their last 3 outs. Drew Stubbs is 0 for 3. Arenado will follow, and then Rosario. Fly into center field. Coming up on Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns with a doubleheader as Buster Posey and the Giants take on the Nationals. Then Freddie Freeman and the Braves square off against the Reds. Coverage begins at 2:30 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Royals will be in Texas that night for Game 2 of their series with the Rangers. Arenado has had 2 important at-bats tonight. In the 4th inning, he tripled and scored the Rockies' first run on a sac fly, and then it was his ground ball to Colon, which resulted in the error and led to the 4-run inning. Check swing. That is a foul ball by an inch, maybe less.
You could hear the Rockies dugout yelling, fall, 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 ball. Oh, man.
Boy, was that foul?
I don't know. I think it hit the line. I saw some paint come up when it hit. Walt Weiss, he's going to go out and try to talk to the first base umpire there about that one.
A little nick right there in the grass, little divot,
like that,
and it looks like there's some white grass around that area.
Might have caught some chalk. Now that's called fighting for your player right there.
Now that one looks foul.
Okay,
what do you think?
Yeah, that angle did. Scott Berry, he's straddling that line. He's probably 20 feet from the ball. He had a clean look at it.
So Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, and Scott Berry, the umpire who made the call. Now these plays can be reviewed. Fair ball and foul ball behind the umpires. The question now is, if they were to overturn the call, is what do you do with the runners? Was somebody keeping an eye on Drew Stubbs? Where was he? Does he get second base? Does he go to third? I don't think Arenado goes beyond first base, but depending on the angle, that's a tough one.
It didn't look to me like Stubbs was making any effort to get to third base. Foul ball.
So the call stands, not confirmed, meaning the umpires in New York did not have clear and convincing evidence either way. So deference to the call made on the field, which was a foul ball, and it's 0-2 on Arenado.
After the game, Arenado will probably say something to his manager Weiss. Thanks, Skip. Thanks for checking anyway. That'd have been a base hit.
Stead drilled to right field, and Willingham right at the wall makes the play and then bumps into the padding.
Ball wouldn't hit that well, but man, it just keeps carrying. Willingham, second opportunity to make a play tonight. 2 fly balls. Battling the raindrops. Stayed with it.
See if Frazier can get a ground ball double play, where the Royals are due one on their side. The Rockies have received 4 ground ball double plays, and that ties a record for one pitcher in Rockies history. Jorge De La Rosa in his 8 innings gets 4 double plays.
And that's killed any chance of the Royals mounting any rallies at all.
Oh, John.
Stubbs runs, and it's lifted to right field. Stubbs didn't see it, and now he slips on second base. Willingham's throw comes in late. The risk taken by a runner running with his head down.
Well, straight steal all the way. You take a chance. Now, you heard contact. It looked like Infante was trying to deke him a little bit at second base. Slip, but he's able to get up. He's got really nice speed.
So 2 down to Dickerson. Back in that 6th inning with 2 outs, nobody on. Arenado reached on the air. Rosario singled. Dickerson walked. The Royals will appeal, saying that Stubbs did not touch up, that he crossed second base and did not touch second base on his way back. Second base umpire Laz Diaz says that he did. So Dickerson walked, and that was big right before the McBride grand slam, because Danny Duffy, he has just owned left-hand hitters this year. Dickerson was able to get a walk, and that was Danny's only walk tonight, setting the stage for McBride. LaTroy Hawkins preparing for the 9th inning. The Royals have Infante, Butler, Willingham, and if anybody gets on, Gordon. Pratt's going to go have a chat with Frazier. Dickerson from Macomb, Mississippi. Same hometown as Gerard Dyson. The Rockies really wanted him. They drafted him out of high school. He went to junior college instead, and then they drafted him out of there. Shattered bat. Should be easy for Infante, and that is the inning. So last chance for the Royals, down by 3. Omar Infante, who had 4 hits and 4 RBIs last night. Billy Butler, who has an 8-game hitting streak on the line, and Josh Willingham, who has another extra base hit for the Royals tonight. They're coming up. Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Alex Gordon wasted no time. His first at bat, he put the Royals on the board in the second inning. 14th of the year.
It's only the second time all year a Rockies starter has gone 8 innings. Second time all year. The last time was May 5th.
Wow.
And yet, Walt Weiss not tempted to leave De La Rosa out there after 103 pitches. He will go to the veteran, to say the least, LaTroy Hawkins, going for his 19th save. Hawkins has 1 save in about a month and a half.
Wow.
Greg Holland in the stretch since July the 10th. Hawkins 1 save, Greg Holland 15 saves. That's how rough it's been for Rockies pitching in the back end of their bullpen. They simply just can't get the ball to Hawkins in situations like this one.
6'5", 220. 90-93 with that fastball. He cuts that fastball. Curveball and a split finger.
Has that unique pitching motion with nobody on base. He can't do this with a runner on. He has to come set, but just a continuous motion, leaning in for the sign and going right into his pitching motion. This time he does come set.
Coming into this season, LaTroy Hawkins, 17 years and 54 days as a major league pitcher. Morneau getting a little save opportunity with it.
Over all those years, LaTroy Hawkins has played for 10 teams. Rutledge has been busy tonight, and he gets Infante. Little trivia question for you. There are 3 active players in the major leagues who have played for 10 or more teams. LaTroy Hawkins is one. There is another one in the house.
I got that one. I'm trying to think of the other.
Billy 0 for 2 with a walk. Has to get a base hit here to extend his hitting streak.
That other guy, is he a starting pitcher or a reliever?
Yes.
But I know the one. It's in the house, I think.
Well, go ahead.
Bruce Chen.
There you go.
Okay.
LaTroy Hawkins, Bruce Chen. Here's Bruce. Number 3, your hint for number 3. Not only has the third pitcher pitched for the Royals and for the Rockies, he has pitched for the Royals on more than one occasion, and he has pitched for the Rockies on more than one occasion.
Wright. Jamie Wright.
Jamie Wright. You're on top of your game tonight with trivia questions. Jamie Wright. He was a big-time prospect here a long time ago. He had some arm problems, but like LaTroy Hawkins, may not have panned out the way his original team hoped he would, but had a long career. And I tell you what, LaTroy Hawkins, Jamie Wright, and Bruce Chen, they'll probably all be pitching again next year. LaTroy Hawkins was Minnesota's first-round pick in 1991. There were babies born the day Hawkins was drafted that are now done with college. That's how long he's been a professional.
Minnesota, Cubs, Giants, Baltimore, Colorado, New York, Houston, Milwaukee, Angels. A lot of different teams.
Hawkins got a glove on it and throws out Billy, 2 down. Hawkins made his big league debut in 1995, and his second major league appearance was against the Royals 19 years ago. Coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live with Joel. We'll also get reaction from the Royals clubhouse. Josh Vernier will be in there. We'll hear from Royals manager Ned Yost. Royals down to their last out, down by 3. The Royals have won 22 of their last 27. This is really an historic run for the Royals. With a win tonight, that would be 23 wins in their last 28. You know, the last time the Royals did that was 1977. And many regard that team, even though they didn't get to the World Series, as the best team the Royals had. As Willingham goes to deep left field, and Dickerson runs it down. That 77 team won 102 games. So the Rockies get a well-pitched game tonight. They get a grand slam from that guy right there, Matt McBride, his first major league grand slam. And the Royals had a heck of a run. 16 games in 16 days, and with a loss tonight, they went 13-3. And they finished 15-5 against the National League. We'll be right back.